How are you guys doing? It is Friday, July 31st, 2020, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to take you through yesterday's baseball games and, of course, the first basketball games of the season as the NBA bubble has officially restarted as of yesterday. But I'm going to start you off with what's going on with baseball first because, of course, that season's been going on. And I'm going to lead you guys into what's going on today and into what's going on, especially next week. So the first game out for the MLB was the Nats Blue Jays as they played in Nats Stadium again, but the Blue Jays were the home team. The Nationals was put on 6 runs and eventually overwhelmed the Toronto Blue Jays. For the Blue Jays, their designated hitter Vlad Guerrero Jr. would finish 0 for 4. Their center fielder Teoscar Hernandez would finish 3 for 4 with 2 home runs on the day as he now holds the league lead, tie for the league lead for home runs with 4 now on the season. And for the Nationals, they kind of just spaced it out. They were able to score 5 runs between the 3rd and the 5th inning, which ended up being too much for the Blue Jays. Right now, the Nationals with that winner sitting at 3-4, and the Blue Jays currently fall to 3-4. Another American League National League East matchup happened as the Mets hosted the Boston Red Sox, and the Red Sox were able to pull out their second straight win, especially with behind their catcher Christian Vasquez, as he finished 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs, as he hit 2 home runs, as he also is tied for the league lead with home runs. I think he was the hitter of the night. The Red Sox had 4 runs, and Christian Vasquez drove in 3 of them. And then also for the Mets, Pete Alonso, their first baseman, would finish 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout for the day. Now with this, the Red Sox are now sitting at 3-4, along with the Mets. And going into the last AL-NL East matchup, the Atlanta Braves hosted the Tampa Bay Rays this is the 4th straight game they played each other. This is the 2nd straight game the Braves have hosted. In this game, the Braves scored both their runs in the 2nd inning, but it proved to be enough as they were able to get the win as Max Fried, their pitcher, only allowed 1 run and 3 hits, striking out 7 in 6.2 innings pitched. And then Yarbrough for the Rays would strike out 6, only allowing 2 runs in the 6.1 innings he pitched, but the Rays just simply weren't able to score. Seeing what the Braves were doing, their center fielder, Ronald Acuna Jr. finished 0 for 4 with a strikeout on the night. Their second baseman, Ozzie Albies, would finish 0 for 3 with a walk. Freddie Freeman would finish 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Not much would go on for the Braves, but and our RBIs from Swanson and Austin Riley ended up giving them the win. And now with that, both teams are sitting at 4-3 in their respective divisions. And then with the National League East, as the Miami Marlins and the Philadelphia Phillies aren't playing baseball games, the last AL East matchup, especially that happened, was when the Baltimore Orioles hosted the New York Yankees, and the Yankees were able to pull out their 4th win of the season in their first 5 games. They were able to score 5 runs in the 1st inning and 3 in the 9th as they were able to overwhelm the Orioles as they outscored them 8-6. For the Yankees, their right fielder Aaron Judge would finish 1 for 4 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs as he hit his 2nd home run of the season. Their shortstop Gleyber Torres would finish 0 for 1 as he was hit by a pitch and he would eventually get subbed out. Their designated hitter, Giancarlo Stanton, would finish 3 for 4 with 1 run and 1 RBI and a walk as he finished with his 2nd double of the season. Like I said, they were eventually too much for the Orioles, and now they sit at 4-1 atop the American League East. Now moving to the American League Central, first game that happened, and one of the games I think where I saw the best pitching performance of the night came as the Cleveland Indians faced off against the Minnesota Twins in Minnesota. The Twins got their 2nd loss of the season as they were unable to put up a single run. Shane Bieber would toss an amazing gem as he had his pitching performance of the day. He pitched 8 innings and struck out 13 batters. That's 24 possible. That's a lot of outs. That's a lot of strikeouts, especially. He only allowed 3 hits on the day. And behind that, the only person to drive in runs was Francisco Lindor, as he finished 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run. That gave the Indians the win. And now with the 5-2 record, the Indians are sitting atop the AL Central, and the Twins are now 4-2. Now moving to the other AL Central matchup of the night, the Detroit Tigers hosted the Kansas City Royals, but the Kansas City Royals, with 5 runs on the night, outscoring them 5-3, were able to get their 3rd win of the season. As the Tigers would only put out 3 runs, but even Miguel Cabrera would finish 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs as he hit his first home run of the season. And now with this, the Tigers now fall to 4-3, and the Royals are now sitting at 3-4 in the American League Central. And now moving to the National League West matchups before I get into the final American League West matchup. First, the Arizona Diamondbacks hosted the Los Angeles Dodgers. One web gem I would definitely have you look up was Cole Calhoun. He definitely had an amazing catch playing in right field, robbing the Dodgers of a couple more possible runs early on. But the Dodgers overwhelmed them super early. They scored 4 runs in the first 2 innings, and the Diamondbacks scored 3 runs in the entire game. The Dodgers would get their 5th win in their 7th game of the season. Mookie Betts, their right fielder, would finish 1 for 4 with a run and a walk and a strikeout. Their center fielder, Cody Bellinger, would finish 0 for 5 with a strikeout. He left 6 on base. And for the Arizona Diamondbacks, it was just really Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte had 2 hits. Pretty big for them, but at the end of the day, Ross Stripling got his 2nd win of the season. And now at 5-2, the Dodgers have a spot at the top of the National League West. They are tied alongside the San Diego Padres, who last night put on 6 runs on the San Francisco Giants in the 10th inning to give them the 12-7 win. They are now sitting at 5-2. Fernando Tatis, their shortstop, would finish 2 for 5 with a run and an RBI. And, I mean, considering they scored 6 runs in the 10th, I'd say probably the play of the game went to him, as he had the 12th He had the 12th run batted in for the San Diego Padres to give them the 6-run lead, especially at the time. Their baseman Manny Machado would finish 1 for 5 with 2 runs on the night and a walk. Moving to the San Francisco Giants, their center fielder Mike Yastrzemski would finish 2 for 4 with 3 runs on the night. All this said, like I said, the Giants wouldn't be enough, as they now drop to 3-4 in the National League West. Now jumping to the final game of the night, as the Seattle Mariners were eventually scored 5 runs in the 9th to beat the Los Angeles Angels. And with this, the Mariners jump up to 3-4, and the Angels fall to 2-5. And for the Mariners, their starting pitcher Marco Gonzalez would finish allowing no runs in 6 innings pitched, striking out 6. As like I said, the Angels were able to. They were able to score 2 runs in the 5th, 3 in the 9th, but the Seattle Mariners were just too much in the 9th as they overtook them. Looking at the Angels, their third baseman Anthony Rendon would finish 0 for 3, but he'd still finish with a run on the night. And like I said, with that, the Angels would drop, and Mike Trout would go on paternity leave, as he is now, as his child was just born, so he just missed that game. So that's currently where all of these teams sit. That's what happened, especially in that last night. And if we take a look at the regular season standings, we can see where all these teams sit. But going into this, I want to look back to the performances. I said Shane Bieber, for his 13 strikeout performance, was the pitcher of the night. I think the performance of the night went to Christian Vasquez, the catcher for the Boston Red Sox, for getting 2 home runs and 3 of the 4 runs that the Red Sox scored last night. And the play of the night probably went to Fernando Tatis for driving in the Padres' 12th run of the game and the 6th run of the extra innings. Now looking at the standings, especially if we go division by division. Starting with the American League East, the New York Yankees sit atop by themselves with a 4-1 record. 1 game behind them are the 4-3 Tampa Bay Rays. 1 game behind them, tied for the bottom of the American League East, are the 3-4 Boston Red Sox, the 3-4 Toronto Blue Jays, and the 2-3 Baltimore Orioles. And that's how it's looking out there. And they're all 2 games behind the first place Yankees. Looking in the American League Central, sitting in first by themselves are the 5-2 Cleveland Indians. Half a game behind them, you'll find the Minnesota Twins, who are sitting at 4-2. Half a game behind them, you have the 4-3 Detroit Tigers, who are a full game behind the Cleveland Indians. A game behind the Tigers, you have the 3-4 Kansas City Royals, who are sitting 2 games behind the Indians. And sitting in last in the AL Central, you have the 2-4 Chicago White Sox, who are sitting half a game behind the Kansas City Royals and 2.5 games behind the first place Cleveland Indians. Moving out to the AL West, you have the Houston Astros and the Oakland Athletics, both currently tied for the lead at 3-3. Half a game behind them, you'll find the 3-4 Seattle Mariners and the 2-3 Texas Rangers. And a game behind them, sitting in last place in the American League West, you'll find the Los Angeles Angels, who are a game and a half behind the first place Houston Astros and Oakland Athletics. Now looking out to the National League East, sitting by themselves, having only played 3 games, you have the Miami Marlins, who I said are sitting at 2-1, tied with the Atlanta Braves, who are now 4-3. 1 game behind the Marlins and the Braves, sitting in last in the National League East. You have the 3-4 New York Mets, the 3-4 Washington Nationals, and the 1-2 Philadelphia Phillies, all currently tied for that last spot. Now, moving to the National League Central, sitting at the top by themselves are the Chicago Cubs at 4-2. 1 game behind them, you'll find the Milwaukee Brewers, who are sitting at 3-3. Half a game behind the Brewers, you'll find the 2-3 St. Louis Cardinals, who are a game and a half behind the Chicago Cubs. And sitting at last in the NL Central, tied for the bottom, are the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are both 2-4 and a full 2 games behind the first place Cubs. And then finally going out to the National League West, you have a 3-team tie for a 3-team lead for the NL West. The Colorado Rockies at 4-1 currently sit in first place. Behind them, or tied with them, are the 5-2 Los Angeles Dodgers and the 5-2 San Diego Padres. Sitting 2 games behind those 3 teams, you'll find the 3-4 San Francisco Giants. And sitting in last place, a game behind the Giants and 3 games behind the Rockies, Dodgers, and the Padres, you'll find the 2-5 Arizona Diamondbacks. And those are what we're looking at, especially today. And now that we're kind of a week in, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of the rundown for what's going on, who's leading and what. Right now, the current league leader in hits is Kyle Lewis, the center fielder for the Seattle Mariners. He has 13 hits in the 17 games that he's playing. Additionally, Jose Ramirez, the third baseman for the Cleveland Indians, and Mike Yastrzemski, the center fielder for the Giants, are both tied for second with 11 hits on the season. Currently, the Rafael Devers for the Red Sox, Jose Iglesias for the Baltimore Orioles, Donovan Solana for the San Francisco Giants, and Justin Turner for the Dodgers are all tied for the league lead in doubles with 4. Looking at the triples, only J.P. Crawford for the Seattle Mariners and Brandon Lau of the Tampa Bay Rays have more than 1 triple. They both have 2. Currently, Teoscar Hernandez, the center fielder for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Christian Vasquez, the catcher for the Boston Red Sox, are tied for the league with homers with 4. Nelson Cruz holds the sole lead for the league lead for RBIs with 11 RBIs in the 6 games that he's played. And going on to the pitching stats, especially right now, the most innings pitched so far is Shane Bieber, as he has pitched 14 innings in the 2 games that he started. He's only allowed 7 hits in those games, and he has 0 earned runs. So he leads the league in innings pitched, and he still's allowed no runs. He's probably the league leader, especially in the American League for ERA. What's going on with that? He currently also holds the league with strikeouts with 27. Max Scherzer is in second with 21 strikeouts, and Sonny Gray is in third with 20 strikeouts on the season. So that's what's going on, especially with the stats, the standings. Especially, let me show you what's going on today for July 31st. There's one early afternoon game as the Brewers host the St. Louis Cardinals. Jack Flaherty, one of my young elite pitchers, will be pitching for the St. Louis Cardinals. Additionally, the Boston Red Sox are gonna play against the Yankees for the first time this season. I'm gonna watch the Mets and the Braves as Rick Porcello, former Cy Young winner, plays against Sean Newcomb in his second crack at the Braves after they destroyed him last game. Luis Castillo is gonna make his second start for the Cincinnati Reds as they play Turnbull and the Detroit Tigers. Blake Snell is gonna make his second start for the Tampa Bay Rays as they face off against the Orioles tonight. Additionally, Dallas Keuchel's going to make his second start for the White Sox as they face off against the Royals. Mike Clevenger is going to make his start for the Indians tonight as well. Yu Darvish is going to make his second start for the Cubs as they face off against the Pirates. The Athletics are going to play the Mariners. The only postponed game today is going to be the Nationals and the Marlins because of what's been going on with COVID-19 and especially everything going on there. So that is what was going on with baseball. And now as we transition, the NBA restarted yesterday. They restarted the end of the regular season as the Utah Jazz took on the New Orleans Pelicans for the very first game. This game went down to the very end. Donovan Mitchell, one of my shooting guards, he ended up with 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, 3 steals and a block, shooting 6 for 4 from the field, 2 for 4 from the 3 line, 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And their center, Rudy Gobert, would finish with 14 points and 12 rebounds and 3 blocks, shooting 5 for 9 from the field, 4 for 5 from the free throw line. And on the New Orleans Pelicans, Zion Williamson's one of my elite young players. He scored 13 points and had 1 assist in 15 minutes. And Brandon Ingram would have the best performance of the night, individual performance. He had 23 points and 8 rebounds. He had no assists on the night, by the way. But the Jazz would end up taking this one for the road, and with this, the Pelicans now fall another game out of playoff contention, but they're still sitting there. They're not officially out. That was the first game that happened as of yesterday, as Utah really kind of seized the lead, because the New Orleans was leading the game for most of it, but Utah definitely came back in the second half, took over, and won that game. Leading into the second game of the night, the well-anticipated possible finals preview, or Western Conference Finals preview, the Los Angeles Lakers hosted the Los Angeles Clippers in the same stadium, but for the first time it wasn't Staples. And in this game, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George would both have amazing games themselves. For the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard would score 28 points, shooting 7 for 16 from the field, making 11 free throws, shooting 3 from 4 for the field. Also adding in 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Paul George would add in 30 points, shooting 11 for 17 from the field, 6 for 11 from the 3 line, 2 for 4 from the free throw line. Also adding 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals for the night. They just simply weren't enough for the Lakers. And as LeBron in the game, he had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, shooting 6 for 19 from the field, 2 for 7 from the 3-point line, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. The top performer of the night would be Anthony Davis, the Lakers power forward, as he finished with 34, 8, and 4. No steals, no blocks in the game. He finished with 16. He made 16 of the 17 free throws he took. He shot 8 for 19 from the field, but he ended up doing enough what was needed. He scored all 34 of his points, I believe, in the first 3 quarters. He had an amazing performance from the beginning to at least through the third quarter. I think the play of the game, especially last night, went to LeBron James, as he was able to put back one of his own missed shot attempts down the stretch to give them the 103-101 lead, to eventually give them the lead over the Los Angeles Clippers. And as you currently look at the standings, especially in the West, following those 2 games, the Lakers right now sit at 50-14, 6.5 games ahead of the LA Clippers. With 7 games left, I imagine the Lakers should, with the next couple wins for sure, secure the West very easily. And then looking at the seeding for the other teams that played, with that loss, the Pelicans are now in 11th place. They're now 4 games behind the Memphis Grizzlies. And with this win, the Utah Jazz are now a game behind the Denver Nuggets, sitting at 42-23 currently in the West. And with that said, looking into tonight's games, what can we possibly see? There's a game today. The first game is at 2:30. It's between the Magic and the Nets. as, I mean, not many elite players are going to be playing in that game, as a lot of the big players are sitting out, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant especially. The Grizzlies play the Trailblazers on NBA TV as Ja Morant makes his return, and Damian Lillard's also going to get his crack at it. Also, a big game to watch on ESPN as the Celtics play the Bucks. That's a 5-star game as Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker, the two must-watch players in the Celtics, face off against Giannis Antetokounmpo, the possible back-to-back MVP this year. Additionally, tonight you have the Rockets versus the Mavericks. This is a 7-star game as James Harden and Russell Westbrook, the four-point tandem themselves, face off against Luka Doncic, the 3-point must-watch superstar. And they're gonna follow the Celtics and the Bucks. So I mean, for basketball, when I'm not watching the Braves, I'm just gonna stick to see what's going on with ESPN and follow what's going on there. With that said, there's not much else going on except for the FedEx, the golf tournament, especially what's going on. But with that said, that's everything that's going on for today. I recommend just enjoying basketball being back and baseball entering its second week. And with that, I think I've said my piece. I wish everyone the best, and I hope everyone enjoys their Friday, and especially their weekend. Peace out.